Do my best to lend some perspective to why we're seeing the evacuations of entire cities. First of all, satellites are showing us where the fire has burned, and this is an excellent tool to really give us the idea of where it's burning and how it's burning. You can see the communities here. There's Geyserville, there's Healdsburg down there. The flames show up by the satellite. The areas in yellow are places that have burned more than 24 hours ago. Those were the flames that started to get close to Geyserville on Thursday night, and you can see how they got close to the Alexander Valley and stopped. The red boxes show you where this fire has burned within the last 6 hours. Now let me show you where that is in relation to Healdsburg. Remember, these winds tonight at 80 miles an hour will be northeast winds. It does not take much to take an ember and throw it miles from the flames when the winds are going that strong. Healdsburg, Windsor. Can you see why the evacuations have gone in place for you guys? Here it's mandatory. They're talking about maybe as far as out towards the coast, which might sound dramatic. I know, Guerneville sits right about there in the Russian River Canyon. But considering what we saw 2 years ago under a similar wind scenario like this in the Tubbs fire, nobody expected Coffey Park to be at risk in such a short period of time after those flames started. We'll switch over to the weather computer again, and I'll show you the headline on the red flag warning. From 8 o'clock tonight till 11 o'clock to Monday. And I need to stress here, this is issued from the National Weather Service. We've been hearing so much from PG&E. This is a total different issue from a total different organization. The National Weather Service puts out a red flag warning specifically with firefighters in mind to let them know that the conditions are going to be primed that any fires that get started would run. So when we talk about that time frame, that's all we're talking about when we mention a red flag warning. Gusts to 80 miles an hour, that number you've already heard. Let me show you what's different about this event. In addition to the fact that the gusts are going to be a lot stronger in the mountains, the other item that's different is this number, 50-mile-an-hour gusts down in the communities where we all live. So this is a wind advisory. This one not issued for firefighters, this one issued for you. So if you're in Santa Rosa, Healdsburg, anywhere here in Sonoma County that's yellow, you're going to notice this wind event a lot more than you have the last ones. And a 50-mile-an-hour gust, which is on the high side of the possibility here, but it is possible, is more than enough to break tree branches and send debris flying in your neighborhood. So that's the wind advisory, not only for the North Bay. This includes the East Bay valleys as well. It also includes Alameda County over here on the east side of the bay, because being downwind of those mountains, we could also see some of those pretty strong gusts. And to play it forward, let's get into the event tonight on the wind speeds. It starts going by about midnight tonight in the mountains, but the real highlight of this event is going to be in the pre-dawn hours of tomorrow morning. So I've stopped it here at 5 a.m. Gusts to near 50 in Santa Rosa. We don't want to pin these numbers down exactly. It's best to come away with the general takeaway. Gusts could be as high as 50 miles an hour in any location on here, and it'll stay that way through much of the first part of the morning tomorrow. And then once we get into the afternoon, things will calm down a little bit. But what I just showed you were the gusts for the communities. Let's not leave out what's going to happen up here on the ridge tops. Here's Mount St. Helena, the Kincade Fire burning over here. The communities we spotlighted. There's Healdsburg. Windsor sits about here. Guerneville sits out there. Picture the 80-mile-an-hour gust here. We saw the flank of the Kincade Fire had already worked down to the south. That's a different direction than it was burning the night it started. It's now moving in this direction. So if you get the 80-mile-an-hour gust, everything changes direction-wise. And that's why the big concern comes into play. And as dramatic as it is to see entire communities filling Highway 101 to evacuate, hopefully that helps explain why it's happening.